Geordies, hope everyone's well. Welcome back to another scouting episode. And look, it's a beautiful day. I don't want to spend long making this video because I want to go outside and touch grass. And I'm sure you don't want to spend long watching this video because you want to go outside and touch grass. But it looks like Joelinton is going to be injured for the rest of the season, which is absolutely heartbreaking because I feel like with our midfielders, we haven't identified a Joelinton replacement. And this is exactly what these videos are about. So it looks like it's going to be Joe Willock or Lewis Miley coming in. I want to hear your thoughts, but I'm going to give you my thoughts on the preview. But in this episode, we're going to be breaking down another midfielder, somebody that's caught my eye every time I watch him. You watch him and you think he's got something. He might not be playing in the best league in the world, but he's definitely got that European experience that we need. And he's got a well-rounded profile, and that's proven in the statistics. And that is Malik Tillman, currently of PSV. He was born in Nuremberg and he started his youth career at Bayern Munich. Came through the ranks at Bayern Munich with his brother and he actually scored 41 goals, provided 23 assists for Bayern youth teams, which is absolutely extraordinary. He started out his career as a striker before moving to a winger, and now he's playing more centrally, either as a number 8 and a number 10. So just as always, we're going to be looking at his strengths, weaknesses, his style of play, and then comparing them to Joelinton, Bruno and Snadro Tonali to see if he would be a good understudy to any of them. He joined Rangers in 2022 on a season-long loan and then returned to Bayern Munich, signed a contract, and then on the same day joined PSV on loan with an option to buy, which PSV activated after a successful season. He's known for his technical ability, physicality, and ability to hold on to the ball, which is absolutely vital, which allows him to transition into creativity and his playmaking roles. His style of play is also characterized by a direct style of play, which fits Newcastle United, including a high shot frequency, which I actually think we need, and the ability to create through balls and through key passes. So now let's look at some of his strengths. And he actually said this back in 2019, my playing style is similar to Paul Pogba's. He went on to say he models his game around Paul Pogba's. There is slight differences, I feel, in both the styles, but he does come with a lot of versatility. He can play as a number 10, a number 8, and a number 6. Personally, this is just my preference. I prefer him as a number 10 or a number 8. If he plays as a number 6, he's got to play in a double pivot because I don't think he's got the qualities to play as a lone 6. So if you're looking for him to replace that Snadro Tonali role, I really don't think you get the best out of him. He's technically gifted and physically very strong, and he's very threatening in front of goal due to his assertiveness in one-on-one situations. He's got an excellent, well-rounded profile as a midfielder. He stands at 6'2". He's got a nice width, nice broadness about him, which allows him to carry the ball powerfully, link up play, but also score goals and be part of a defensive solidity. Tillman's very good in the final third. He can create just as much as Bruno, but create more than Joelinton. So he brings that extra bit of quality and technical ability than what Joelinton brings. He's a threat in the final third when it comes to chance creation and becoming a goal threat, which makes him an all-round danger to defenses. He's tall, he's good with his feet, he's good in the air, reads the game well, but he does need to bring more consistency. When he's at his best, he can dominate games. He has a large arsenal of offensive qualities at his disposal. He has the insight and the technical baggage to put someone in front of goal with a defense splitting pass. Tillman couples physical strength and effectiveness as well as creativity, and that combination is very rare, especially for a young player. So let's compare him to his PSV teammates, and I found this interesting because he actually creates a lot more than Bilal El Khanous and also Matthias Fernandez, who I've just done videos on, but yet he's sitting in the 7th, 10th against PSV players. So that just goes to show how dominant PSV are in their league. So when we're looking at statistics, you've got to understand that he's playing for one of the most dominant sides in the league, and there is a disparity in league. So he's playing against weaker opposition is what I'm trying to tell you, but he creates an enormous amount. He's got an expected assist per 90 of 5.3. He's provided 31 key passes this season, 28 passes in the penalty area, 94 progressive passes. When you compare that to Newcastle United's team, he's one of the highest. Shot creating actions 73, which was more than Matthias Fernandez and Bilal El Khanous. Goal creating actions 6, progressive carries 49, successful take-ons 30. But I really like these defensive qualities. Tackles attempted 2nd, tackles won 2nd, tackles in the final third 1st, which is crucial for Newcastle United. And tackles and interceptions combined, he's sitting 3rd. Now there is some weaknesses to his game because he's definitely not the finished article. What he does provide over the others that we've looked at. He comes with a European experience. He's played numerous games in the Champions League, and that can be absolutely vital. But he's young as well. He's 22 years old. His all-round game does need refinement, and you notice that massively with Malik Tillman, because his passing can sometimes be a bit too sloppy. He needs to take more care and really strengthen his concentration levels and be more tentative in possession. While he shows flashes of brilliance, and he really does, he can be inconsistent with his overall performance. And watching him, I feel at times he drifts in and out of games. Sometimes you'll watch him, he'll have a 10-minute spell where he's absolutely unbelievable, and then you'll not see him for 20 minutes. So he just needs a little bit more consistency per 90 in every single game. Use of his weaker foot. Sometimes he hesitates to utilize his left foot. That limits the passing options or making the right decision in possession, because he's always looking to cut back onto his right foot. Now, what I really like about Malik Tillman is his profile. He's got a lot of elements, qualities that Eddie Howe can work with. He's big, strong, physical, and he's technically gifted. He's powerful, and he's strong enough to hold opponents off the ball. You can make him into any type of player you desire, so you can mold him into a type of player. Remember, Joelinton wasn't a midfielder until Eddie Howe took over. He was actually a striker/winger, so you can mold him into a player you like, because he's got a lot of elements that you can work with. So let's take a look at what he looks like. And when I say versatility, this is what I mean. He's played an attack midfielder, centre midfielder, a striker, left winger, right winger, and a defensive midfielder. Like I mentioned earlier, personally, I prefer him is a number 8 or a number 10. We don't really play with a natural number 10, so I would like to see him either in the Joelinton role or Bruno role. If he was to play the Snadro Tonali role, I think we would have to play with a double pivot rather than a midfield 3, and I don't think we'd change with a system for one player. So for me, we'd have to play in the Joelinton role or Bruno role, but you can see the quality he brings. The ball recoveries is absolutely outstanding. Ball retention skills is outstanding. Chance creation is outstanding. Goal efficiency, outstanding. Being a goal threat, getting into good positions, receiving the ball high up the pitch is outstanding. And then progressive carrying is very good as well. So he brings a well-rounded profile. And this is what I like about him. Now, if you want to compare that to Joelinton, Bruno and Tonali, this is what it would look like. But you've got to remember, like I mentioned earlier, Malik Tillman's doing it in the Eredivisie. The disparity in league is absolutely massive. So these guys are doing it in the Premier League. He's doing it in the Eredivisie. So the numbers in Malik Tillman, if he was to come to the Premier League, would shorten. So they'll probably look a bit more like Bruno's, is what I'm trying to say, with a little bit less progressive passing and carrying. But if we compare him to Joelinton specifically, this is what I'm talking about. He's going to offer you a lot more in possession, better ball retention skills, better chance creation, being a bigger goal threat, but he provides a lot more ball recoveries as well. So if he needs to go in the wider areas and double up or help his left back, he absolutely can do that. But if he needs to play in the Bruno role and take that responsibility of being a creator, he can do that. And this is what I'm thinking. If we're looking to strengthen our quality in depth, why not get a player that can play multiple different roles? Because that's ideal. So this is how the heat map compares as well. And as you can see, Malik Tillman really hovers around that left half space. And this is why I said he could play the Joelinton role. But if you just teach him how to be a little bit more defensive disciplined, then he get absolutely played, in my opinion. But PSV do change their system from a 4-2-3-1 to a 4-3-3. So they mix between the two. When they play a 4-2-3-1, Malik Tillman's normally the attacking midfielder. When they play a 4-3-3, he's normally the left midfielder in a midfield 3. The kind of the Joelinton role when they play a 4-3-3. But you've got to remember that PSV are a lot more ball dominated than Newcastle United, because when they're one of the big dogs in their league. Newcastle are certainly getting there, but we don't keep possession like other teams do. We're a little bit more direct with our style of play, is what I'm trying to say. And I kind of thought these stats were interesting because it tells you exactly what he likes to do. He's a massive ball carrier, but averaging 5.14 progressive passes per 90 is extraordinary. But when it comes to goal output, finishing chances, he gets into good positions to finish chances. He's creating a lot of shot actions per 90. He actually sits in the top 6 percentile across Europe. Now, if we look at his shot actions in isolation, the thing that stands out to me is he's very good at pressing opponents, and that's identified by defensive actions. He's sitting with 0.25, which is a top 1 percentile in Europe. What does Eddie Howe want to do? He wants to press aggressively and win the ball as high and quickly up the pitch as possible, and that's exactly what Malik Tillman gives you. So he doesn't mind doing that doggies, doing the defensive, putting pressure on opponents. And that's elements that we should be looking at when we're looking at identify players. But there's one specific thing I want to notify as well is progressive passes received just behind me head there. If my head wasn't in the way, but he's receiving 6.68 progressive passes per 90. That tells me two things. He's starting positions high, so he wants to get involved in link-up play in the final third. But it also tells me he's very good at creating angles, being an option for the man in possession, playing between the lines, finding gaps in the opposition defense to receive the ball, which are all the elements we need when we want to play quickly and directly. So he has these defensive actions, but also what he's like in possession as well. And if we're concentrating these defensive actions, he's averaging 2.69 tackles per 90. That's more than any of our midfielders. Bruno's our top midfielder for tackles per 90 with 2.2. So that's a very, very high rate in terms of tackles per 90, especially when he's in a team that dominates possession. When it comes to dribblers tackled, he's averaging 68.6% of dribblers tackled in ground duels won, which I absolutely love. When it comes to interceptions, passes blocked, he's very good at blocking out passing lanes. And when it comes to ball recoveries, he's sitting in the top 10 percentile across Europe. There's one statistics that I really like as well on this page is aerial duels won. He's averaging 63.3% of his aerial duels won, which just goes to show he's not bad in the air as well. When it comes to touches per 90, the majority of his touches come in the attacking third. I think if he was to come to Newcastle United, that would change more to the middle third because he would be playing either that Bruno role or Joelinton role, in my opinion. But when it comes to successful take-ons attempted, progressive carries into the final third, carries into the penalty area, all being absolutely direct, that's exactly what we need in terms of profile wise. But there is one thing that is concerning on here, and I mentioned it before, his lack of concentration. Sometimes it almost like he thinks it's too easy for him and he miscontrols a ball or he gets dispossessed easily on his first touch. Sometimes he just needs to take a little bit more care, have a bit more ball appreciation when the ball's arriving. It's like he wants to do everything off the cuff and he doesn't really take care of the ball, and that's why he ranks really lowly for miscontrols. And this is a graphic that I absolutely love because it absolutely breaks down his well-roundedness. And if we look at the left-hand side first, he ranks really highly for key passes, expected assists, progressive runs, attacking actions, which means he's very forward-thinking in possession, which I absolutely love. And if we look at this side, this is comparing him to Eredivisie midfielders. He ranks first for key passes, first for deep completions, first for successful dribbles, first for offensive duels, and first for successful attacking actions, which highlight his forward-thinking mentality and his willingness to be direct, which fits exactly what Newcastle United are looking for. So let's compare him again to Bruno, Joelinton, and Snadro Tonali. And as you can see, assists, he's level with Bruno. Chance creation, he's just below Bruno. When it comes to through balls, he ranks higher than anybody else. So that shows that he's got the vision and the execution to deliver those through balls. And again, because I know the Eredivisie isn't as quality as the Premier League, I've used statistics from the UEFA Champions League. So these statistics are coming out of the Champions League competition because it's a little, well, it is better than the Eredivisie. So you get a bit more accurate reflection of what he's all about when he comes up against difficult opponents. When it comes to duels contested, this is what I love. He doesn't mind getting physical, doesn't mind getting involved. And I think if you give him the responsibility of being a bit more defensive minded, he can certainly take it on board because he's changed positions so much. He's had a good education of the overall game and how the game just develops. But as you can see, he's intercepting more than anybody. He's blocking more shots than anybody. But crucially, he's making more ball recoveries than anybody else. That just goes to show his hard work out of possession. One statistics I love and I want to see more of our three midfielders is touches in the opposition box, because if you're getting into better positions, if you're getting into goal scoring positions, if you're wanting to get in the penalty area, that gives you a higher chance of scoring. That's probably why he scored so many goals. But look, Malik Tillman's got a fascinating profile and he's well-roundedness and got the physical attributes to be moulded into a midfielder that you want. Remember, Joelinton was not a defensive midfielder before he came to Newcastle United. So this is something that we could incorporate into his game at the moment. I know he's playing a bit more attacking at PSV, but he could certainly do the job in a midfield three. I've mentioned my concerns about him playing as a lone six. I think he's very good in a structure when you're in a midfield three. that's where I prefer him, either as a number 8 or a number 10. But I want to hear your thoughts. Looks like we all linked Harvey Elliott as well. So if you want to see a video on Harvey Elliott, let me know in the comments below, because I woke up this morning and there is some rumors saying that we all linked to Harvey Elliott. So I don't know how true they are. I take everything that Court Offside is said with a pinch of salt, but you never know these days. But let me know your thoughts in the below. Would you be happy with somebody like Malik Tillman, or would you prefer somebody that's already playing in a European top 5 league? Let me know in your comments below. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and until next time, away the lads.